The Galactic Council had prepared for war. Admiral Vextar of the Hegemony Defense Fleet stood before the massive tactical display, watching red dots representing human vessels approach the neutral zone. Intelligence reports had been clear. Humanity's first contact fleet would consist of massive dreadnoughts, bristling with kinetic weapons and fusion torpedoes. The humans were a species that had spent millennia perfecting the art of killing their own kind. Surely they would bring their most devastating instruments of war to this historic meeting. All ships maintained defensive positions, Vextar commanded through his neural implant. The assembled fleet was impressive. 300 warships from 12 different species, each vessel a marvel of military engineering. The Zephyrian cruisers hummed with plasma cannons, while the crystalline Vorthan ships pulsed with contained dark energy. This was the Council's message to humanity. We are not defenseless prey. The first human ship emerged from hyperspace, and confusion rippled through the bridge crew. It wasn't a dreadnought. It wasn't even armed according to their sensors. The vessel looked more like an oversized cargo hauler, boxy and utilitarian, with strange appendages jutting from its hull. "Sir," Communications Officer Yildara announced, her tentacles quivering with uncertainty, "the human vessel is requesting permission to dock. They say they're here for the cultural exchange program." Vextar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Cultural exchange? Our intelligence indicated—" "More ships dropping out of hyperspace, sir," the sensor operator interrupted. The display lit up with dozens of new contacts, but instead of the sleek, predatory warships they'd expected, the human fleet looked like a floating junkyard. There were converted merchant vessels, repurposed, mining ships, and what appeared to be a massive mobile workshop. The largest ship in the fleet was clearly a construction vessel, its hull adorned with fabrication arms and resource processors. Ambassador Corveth, the Council's chief diplomat, materialized via hologram on the bridge, his serpentine form coiled with visible anxiety. "Admiral, what's the tactical assessment? How many weapon systems are we detecting?" That's the problem, Ambassador. We're detecting almost no weapons at all." 3 hours later, Ambassador, Corveth found himself in the strangest first contact scenario in galactic history. Instead of tense negotiations conducted over gun sights, he was sitting in what humans called a conference room aboard their lead vessel, watching a presentation given by a cheerful human female named Dr. Sarah Chen. "As you can see," Dr. Chen continued, gesturing to a holographic display, "our preliminary scans of this system reveal tremendous potential for infrastructure development. Your Kepler station here could benefit from a complete overhaul of its power distribution network. We estimate a 340% efficiency improvement with minimal resource investment." Ambassador Corveth's translator struggled with the human concepts. "I'm sorry, Dr. Chen, but we were expecting to discuss military capabilities and territorial boundaries. Instead, you're showing us construction projects." Dr. Chen's eyebrows rose. "Oh, I see the confusion. You thought we were bringing warships." She laughed, a sound that somehow managed to be both harmless and terrifying. No, we brought our engineers." The word engineers didn't translate properly. Corveth's implant provided several possible meanings. Builders, problem solvers, makers of things. None seemed adequate for the way Dr. Chen said it, like she was describing some kind of elemental force. "Perhaps a demonstration would help," Dr. Chen suggested. "We noticed your asteroid mining operation in the outer system is experiencing declining yields. Mind if we take a look?" Within 6 hours, the human engineering team had completely revolutionized the Vorthan mining operation. They didn't just fix the declining yields. They increased production by 800% while reducing environmental impact to nearly zero. The Vorthans, a proud species that had considered themselves master miners for millennia, stood in stunned silence as humans in work suits casually redesigned their entire operation using tools they'd apparently built on the spot. "How?" was all senior miner Kaztok managed to say. Chief Engineer Martinez, a grizzled human with cybernetic implants covering half his skull, grinned. "You were thinking too small, friend. Why extract ore when you can convince the asteroid to refine itself? Just needed to introduce some self-replicating nanobots with basic programming. They'll sort the material by atomic structure and process. It for you. Should be self-sustaining for about 40 years before needing maintenance. The word nanobots caused several species translators to crash entirely. By the end of the first week, the Human Engineering Corps had spread throughout Council space like some kind of benevolent plague. They appeared wherever there was a problem to solve, armed with impossible solutions and an inexplicable enthusiasm for challenges that other species had considered unsolvable for generations. The Zephyrians' atmospheric processors, which had been failing for decades, fixed in 3 days with something humans called duct tape and elbow grease. The translator provided no adequate definition for either term. The hegemony's capital ship engines, which required a month of maintenance after every major operation, redesigned to be self-maintaining and 400% more efficient. The humans refused payment, claiming they were just tinkering. Ambassador Korveth found himself in emergency session with the council leadership, trying to explain a situation that defied every precedent in galactic politics. "They're not conquering us," he reported to the assembled representatives. "They're optimizing us. Everything they touch becomes better, faster, more efficient. Our economists are calling it the greatest technological leap in recorded history." Elder Tilmora of the Ancient Communion spoke with the weight of 10,000 years. "What do they want in return?" "That's the terrifying part," Korveth replied. "They want to be friends. They want to share ideas. They want to solve problems together." He paused, letting the horrifying implications sink in. "And they're very good at it." Admiral Vextar, attending the session via secure link, added grimly, "Our war colleges are recommending complete strategic revision. How do you fight an enemy whose primary weapon is making your life better?" Dr. Chen's voice came through the chamber's communication system, bright and cheerful. "Sorry to interrupt. We couldn't help but notice your council chamber's acoustics are terrible. We've designed some improvements. Mind if we install them? Won't take more than an hour." The council members looked at each other with the dawning realization that humanity hadn't brought an invasion fleet. They'd brought something far more dangerous, an irresistible force of relentless improvement, wrapped in genuine goodwill and armed with an inexhaustible supply of brilliant solutions. Resistance, they realized, was not just futile, it was counterproductive.